Let's open with the topic transforming the financial landscape, digital currencies. In 2023, we've seen dozens of countries piloting central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. Can you explain what's driving this surge in government-backed digital money?
Absolutely. Traditional cash transactions are costly and inefficient, especially across borders. CBDCs aim to streamline payments, reduce fraud, and make monetary policy more responsive. For example, China's digital yuan has enabled instant transactions for millions, while the Bahamas sand dollar targets financial inclusion for remote communities.
That's fascinating. But with CBDCs, there's also concern about privacy and surveillance. How do these initiatives balance efficiency with citizens' rights?
It's a delicate trade-off. While digital currencies can combat money laundering, critics warn about potential government overreach. Some nations, like Sweden, are exploring privacy-preserving technologies, such as zero-knowledge proofs, to protect user data, though these solutions are still evolving.
Given these complexities, how might CBDC adoption reshape day-to-day banking and global finance in the coming years?
Banks could see reduced roles as people transact directly via digital wallets. International transfers may become instantaneous and far less costly. However, adoption will depend on infrastructure, regulatory clarity, and public trust, none of which are guaranteed yet.
Let's pivot to another major shift: the green economy. There's an explosion of sustainability initiatives and investments in renewables worldwide. Could you shed light on the economic rationale behind this trend?
Certainly. Green technologies are not just about environmental stewardship, they're increasingly profitable. For example, the International Energy Agency reported that global investment in clean energy surpassed $1.7 trillion in 2023, outpacing fossil fuel spending. This shift creates jobs, reduces long-term costs, and opens new markets.
But green transitions can be disruptive. How are governments and businesses addressing the challenges, such as job losses in traditional sectors or the upfront expense of new infrastructure?
Many countries are using policy levers, think tax credits, retraining programs, and green bonds to buffer the transition. Germany's coal phase-out, for example, pairs subsidies with job training. Still, some regions lag, so equitable transition remains a key debate.
Given these efforts, what does the future hold for the green economy, especially in emerging markets?
Emerging economies may leapfrog directly to renewables, bypassing coal and oil. However, adequate investment and technology transfer are crucial. Without them, the green divide could widen. So international cooperation is critical moving forward.
Switching gears, remote work has dramatically reshaped labor markets. With more people working from home, how are cities and businesses adapting to this new reality?
The impact is profound. Urban centers, once reliant on daily commuters, now see declining demand for office space and public transit. According to a 2023 McKinsey report, commercial real estate values in major U.S. cities have dropped by up to 18%. Businesses are downsizing offices and investing in digital collaboration tools instead.
That's a significant shift. Are there examples of cities successfully reinventing themselves to counterbalance these trends?
Absolutely. Cities like Austin and Lisbon have rebranded as remote work hubs, offering tax incentives and improved broadband infrastructure. Smaller towns, too, are attracting new residents with affordable housing and flexible workspaces, revitalizing local economies once considered stagnant.
On the organizational side, has remote work changed the dynamics of hiring and productivity?
Yes, companies can now tap into global talent, broadening their candidate pools. However, managing remote teams demands new leadership approaches and performance metrics. Some studies suggest productivity gains, while others warn of burnout without clear boundaries.
Another hot topic is supply chain resilience, especially after the pandemic exposed vulnerabilities. How are companies rethinking their strategies to mitigate future disruptions?
Firms are diversifying suppliers and locations rather than relying on a single source or region. For instance, in 2023, Apple shifted parts of its manufacturing from China to India and Vietnam. This so-called China Yaowen 1 strategy helps cushion against geopolitical shocks and logistical bottlenecks.
With these changes, we're also seeing persistent inflation. How do supply chain adjustments interact with rising costs and monetary policy decisions?
Reshoring and diversification can increase short-term costs, contributing to inflation. Central banks, like the U.S. Federal Reserve, have responded by hiking interest rates to curb demand. Yet, higher rates risk slowing economic recovery, so it's a delicate balancing act.
In light of these pressures, what long-term strategies might help both businesses and consumers weather ongoing economic uncertainties?
Digitalization like AI-powered logistics and closer supplier relationships can enhance flexibility. For consumers, adapting spending habits and seeking value options is key. Ultimately, resilience hinges on both innovation and prudent policy responses.